So the first thing that this test asks for is to pipette 2 drops of the donor sample into the blue top blood prep tube. Okay? Blue top prep tube using a new pipette each time. So, take 2 drops, throw that away, pipe my donor sample. It says to cap lightly, or cap tightly, and invert several times to mix thoroughly, and then set it back in the testing sample. So, put it back in there. Okay, and then take 4 drops of the serum, which is this guy, and I've already spun it to the yellow top reaction tube. Again with a new pipette. And then that is in there. Set it back into the sample tray. And then it says from this blue top, transfer 2 drops into each, the yellow, the green, and the red. Each using a new pipette each time. Two drops into the yellow, and it wants me to invert them and mix them well. Green, which is the negative control. Again, a new pipette. And the cap back on. And inverting to mix. And the red top, which is the positive control. Pipettes don't quite hold 2 full drops, so re-administering. And again, mix tightly. There's not a whole lot of fluid, so. And then it says to let incubate for 5 minutes at room temperature. So starting that now, stop the video for 5 minutes. Okay, so it's been 5 minutes. Now it wants me to take 1 drop from each the yellow, the green, and the red and put them into their respective gel containers. So just making sure that they're all in the right spot. Popping that tightly, putting it aside so I can infuse it. Same thing with the green. Taking one drop and adding it. And the red. Another noodles. Drying it up. Mixing one drop. And replacing the lids. Okay, the next thing is the centrifuging. So this is one of the okayed centrifuges for this test in particular. Because there are 3, I'm going to balance them by doing 2 of them and then reading the test for those 2. So they are balanced. I don't have any more balancers, so I'll read them, those 2. And then it says for 4.8 seconds or minutes, but I can only do whole numbers, so I'm going to do 5 at 3,500 RPMs. So it's on, push 1, and it's running. Okay, so the test says the reaction gel tube demonstrates a firm line of red blood cells at or near the top of the matrix. The reaction is positive, and the recipient as is at risk. But also the negative gel tube should demonstrate a collection of red blood cells at the bottom of the gel column, which it does. So I'm going to use this as a balance for our red one, just to make sure that our test is still valid, because our negative and our positive controls have to both come back with desired results. So locking and running. So as long as the red, which is the positive control, demonstrates an agglutination of red blood cells at or near the top of the gel column, we can then say that our test was valid. But because the red blood cells are kind of mostly at the bottom, I would say that this reaction is negative, which means the recipient is likely not at risk for demonstrating the transfusion reaction from the donor at this time. However, Keep in mind that we do need to keep an eye out on our recipient just to make sure, because there are some red blood cells at the top. We should make sure that agglutination cells doesn't create any problems for the recipient. So we could possibly be looking at some allergic reactions. Just something to keep an eye out for. So I finished spinning. So I have my negative and positive controls. Take those over here. So as I stated in the before video, I have the green, which is my negative gel, and it does show the correct reaction with all the cells at the very bottom. And I have the positive reaction, which shows all the cells at the very top. And then I have my actual sample, which shows most of the cells at the very bottom, which I double checked with the doctor, and that is a negative reaction, which means that we would most likely have a good match with our donor and recipient.